Armadale Gosnells Landcare is a not-for-profit group which works with volunteers, biodiversity and natural resources. Today we are at Mount Nesira in South Perth. Volunteers are cleaning bushland to maintain a healthy environment. Today you manage a workday to clean the bush and you are supported by volunteers. What are your two main goals?
Two main goals is to conduct, I suppose, environmental restoration work with volunteers, so getting them involved in practical work. And I suppose our other main goal is about educating the community, both locally and wider community, about environmental environmental issues, land care issues, so that I guess that raise awareness of some of those issues and how people can act to help, I guess, look after our natural environment.
And who are people who participate to your workday, and how did they know about your initiative?
We get school groups involved, so I think last year we had over 2,000 school kids helping us from over 20 odd different schools locally. And we also get corporate groups. We also support a lot of, there are smaller community groups that might have a particular area that they really try and look after. And then we also just get people from the general public who might rock up on one of our, say, our weekend work days where we might be doing planting in a certain spot, National Tree Day or something like that, getting involved with one of those sorts of days, and they just want to come down. I think a lot of people probably on social media now, so we've got a Facebook page, we use that. And also we have a mailing list of email contacts, so we use that as well.
That workday is one among others, so why is it important to get people involved in the protection of the land care?
Well, I think it's really important that people within our general community, that we all take responsibility for the natural areas around us, because these places, I guess, they face a lot of threats, particularly in urban areas, from, I guess, the way we live our lives. So, we need to take responsibility for that and get involved with looking after our environment, our natural environments, the rivers and all those sorts of places,
And in your mind, are people aware enough?
I think some people are really, really aware, and I've noticed, particularly like the students from various schools and that, I think nowadays the education's really coming through the school systems, and it's really good. So a lot of those that get involved, they are quite aware, and even adults, there are a lot of really aware adults. But I'd also say there's probably quite a lot of people that aren't as aware as maybe they could be, or as I would personally like them to be. I think definitely we've got a lot of work to do with raising awareness in the wider community. Yep.
And Perth is one of the most biodiverse cities in the world. So over 1,500 plant species are found here. So what is the biggest danger for nature here?
In an urban area such as Perth, there's a wide variety of threats, I suppose, coming from the way we live our lives. So, whether that's pollution coming from roads, so oils and stuff like that are coming out of cars and getting on the road and then washing through drains. There's also, higher loads of fertilisers and other nutrient sources coming from people's lawns or agricultural sort of areas, or there's a range of ways nutrients can get into the river and places like that, or even bushlands. So that's probably one of the big things that we sort of tackle is nutrients getting into the waterways. That's the biggest threat, I think, for waterways. But there's a whole range of other issues, from land clearing, introduction of exotic plant and animal species that may adversely affect some of our native species, and that can cause extinction or even localised extinction of species in certain areas. And I guess now we're sort of facing increasingly the threat of climate change, which people are more and more aware of, and that's having a lot of effects on our bushlands and our other natural environments, as well as the species that live in those areas.
This is Laura Bayumi for Undercurrent.